Hey people, it's me. And as you can see, I have my suit of Mandalorian armor that I forged almost entirely out of aluminum behind me. I'm going to do some voiceovers and explain the process of how it was made. And I'm going to leave some files in my video description for you guys if you want to make your own. Anyways, without further ado, here we go.
So of course I don't plan to take all the credit for myself. This is my best friend Ari who helps me with this.
So this is the forge, and the forge uses propane to melt aluminum at really high temperatures. And what we do is we 3D print, or we make a part, and then we put it in a casting box, which I'll show you in a couple of seconds. And then once it's all melted down to a liquid, then we're able to take the slag out, which is basically impurity from paint and other alloys, and then we pour it into the mold, which gives us our part that we need.
This is the way.
Does anyone know what the charge for accidental arson is? If so, please leave it in the comments.
I'm sure you're probably wondering why these two guys made a suit of armor and risked accidental arson, or whatever we're calling it now. And the reason why, I think, is because we've always wanted to make a suit of armor ever since we met. And so when I got the project from my professor to make a documentary, I made a suit of armor, and a documentary to go with it.
So here's the casting box, and as you can see, the aluminum right here is being removed. It's got all the sand all over it, and it's not going to come out clean at all times. Sometimes you're going to have pitting, or as you can see here, we have a little bit of an issue on the edge, but usually they come out pretty alright. You just have to clean them up after. And there you go, looks like it came out clean. So we're going to take that one and put it with all the rest of them, so then we can clean them all off later. The way the sand works is really interesting, because it's basically just like sand or clay, and it's coated with oil, so it's super cohesive, so it sticks to itself and keeps a really rigid shape. And that's how it takes the shape of pretty much anything that you can put in it. Well, anything is a simple shape. When you get more complex shapes, then you have to work with cement or sand, and that's a little more challenging. So now that you've seen the process on how to make the armor itself, now I'm going to show you some clips, a time lapse of us trying to connect it onto the harness I made. So basically I got a cheap plate carrier and some webbing from Amazon, and just some cheap clips as well, and started clipping everything on and using a rivet gun to stick everything on permanently. I've made it so that most of the armor can come off if I need to maintenance it or just take it off for whatever reason. So that's pretty cool.
I don't think there were exactly words to go through my mind when I was painting this thing. This was all the time I had put into it, going down to this one moment of whether I liked the paint or not. I was terrified. I'm really glad it came out well, though.
There's your Mando suit. I'm taking the masking tape off soon. Well, heading out. Thank you for the help with the armor. And 2-hour drive, yeah, 2-hour drive. I will see you in winter break. Whenever this documentary's done, right? Whenever it's done. Best amigo. We're going to finish the armor for sure. We're going to have flamethrower.
Oops, I think I just gave away my next project. Hey, stay tuned. But on a serious note, this project has taught me a lot. I learned something that's going to sound really corny and stupid, but I worked all over the place. I worked at my house, my mom's house, Don't tell her I said that. His house. I worked at my college, Ari's college, Ari's mom's house. Don't tell her I said that. And we worked everywhere. And as long as you have a group of friends or your equipment, it doesn't matter if you're making it in the Great Forge like the Mandalorians did thousands of years ago. Because really, you take the Great Forge wherever you go, as long as you have your friends and your equipment. This is the way. And if you made it this far, you might want to consider subscribing and liking the video. Helps a lot. All my resources are in the description.